Mets play the Minnesota Twins. Tonight's game is presented by New York Presbyterian. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets play the middle game of their series against the Minnesota Twins. Juan Soto has missed the last 15 games. He had been red hot before he got hurt. Suffered a calf injury in San Francisco on April the 3rd. The Mets have missed him badly, and Soto's back tonight.
Well, not only do you get his physical presence in the lineup, but I think for a team that's going through what it's going through, it's such a welcome distraction. I mean, everyone's talking about Soto. The reporters want to ask him everything about the team. Did he witness, what has he been watching as the 12-game streak has gone on? And he's unfazed. He just wants to get in there and do what he does, and that's to be one of the best hitters in the game.
He'll DH tonight. He'll play left field tomorrow. Then they'll see what his schedule is going to be after that. Do you have concerns about him, A, not playing a rehab game, and B, coming back on a cold weather night?
For 99% of the people, I would say I'd feel concerned of not going down there and seeing some live pitching. But I don't from him. He's just a phenomenon. But I do have concerns about how you break him into the outfield. The base running that you do to get ready and say I'm fine is not the same base running when you're trying to score at home from first base.
Now, when he went down, the Mets had 3 terrific offensive games without him. And now over the last dozen games, they've averaged less than 2 runs per game. What kind of impact can he have in the lineup beyond himself?
Well, I think if he can have the impact he had when the season started on this team, as far as going deep into counts, getting a lot of walks, getting a lot of base runners, just getting some people on base so that they give themselves a lot more opportunities to drive in. We've been watching through this streak. They might have 2 opportunities to score within 9 innings. Giving themselves 4 or 5 chances, that'll be much better.
Under the radar, amidst this Mets morass, Clay Holmes has been one of the best pitchers in the National League in the early season.
He got the loss in his last start against the Dodgers, but only 2 runs in 5 innings. He's only given up 5 runs in 4 starts, and he has made a directional change as far as being more aggressive and getting more ground balls.
So the Mets trying to snap their 12-game losing streak. Welcome Juan Soto back to the lineup, hoping for his thump to translate into a victory. It's the Mets and the Twins at Citi Field. All the action on SNY.
People like cold beer.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by your local tri-state area Audi dealers. By Spectrum, it's internet, mobile, and streaming TV, all from one place. By your local Honda dealers, contact your local Honda dealer today. And by the New York Lottery, you could win a grand prize of $40,000 with the Swing for the Fences promotion. Enter with the New York Lottery app today. The many faces of Juan Soto. Relive the magic of the 1986 World Championship season. Get your Jesse Orosco bobblehead on April 24th with a special event ticket purchase. Go to Mets.com/theme games for details. Takes us to the road ahead. The radio home for the Mets is 8:80 a.m. and streaming on the free Odyssey app. One more game with the Twins tomorrow night. Then the Rockies come in for the weekend. The Nats are here next week. And then the Mets head back west. Anaheim, Colorado, and Arizona on the docket on the next road trip. A little warmer in the big city than last night. Mets looking for a spark. First pitch coming up. Hyundai starting lineup for the Minnesota Twins, who are second in the American League in runs per game. Only one change from last night. Victor Caratini will catch, which gives Derek Shelton and the Twins 3 switch hitters in their lineup against Clay Holmes.
Interesting, they interchange the catchers, but they both bat cleanup. Clay Holmes, you see the Toyota numbers, just outstanding so far. One of the reasons is he's pitched so well with people on base. With men on base, they're 3 for 39. With just a man on first, 0 for 24. Amazing numbers. Genesis Mets defense is definitely going to have some changes. Tommy Pham's going to be in left field. Tyrone Taylor in right. Alvarez and Holmes are the battery. Bichette, Lindor, Simeon, and Vientos across the infield.
A little different look because the Twins are starting a rookie left-hander tonight. Connor Prelip. It'll be his first major league appearance, so the Mets getting their right-handed platoon in there. It's Bark in the Park night. The Dogs were out on the field before the game. They were all good boys and girls.
How do you know?
Because they all are. There are no bad dogs. There are only bad owners. Hello. Wow. I don't know if my dogs would be very happy.
Would they just be like sit there and relax and chill?
I don't think so. I think they'd be a little agitated. Maybe you have to, provide a little medication. Byron Buxton leads off against Clay Holmes. And on a 52-degree night, Holmes' first pitch of the night is yanked foul. And we're underway. Last night, Byron Buxton delivered a key blow for the Twins. Their first 2 runs came on his one swing of the bat.
The ball was not traveling last night, but he is so strong. Hit that ball into the night.
Buxton with 4 home runs through his first 86 at bats. And he pops this one up into shallow right field. Tyrone Taylor jogging in. And he's got it for the first out of the night. So Holmes, who has been living by the ground ball, gets a fly ball for his first out. The ground ball rate's up to 58%. That's 5th in the major leagues among qualifiers, and a little higher than it was last year in his first year as a starter. Here's Trevor Larnach, 1 for 4 last night. Larnach's hitting .263, but he's got a .451 on base percentage because he's already run 13 walks with only 38 official at bats. This is a Minnesota team that early in the season has been very productive hitting fastballs. Their OPS against fastballs is .822. That's 8th in the majors. Against non-fastballs, .551. That's 27th. And that sinker just missed. 2 balls and a strike to Larnach, with Josh Bell, the switch hitting DH on deck. The Twins last night snapped a 4-game losing streak as they came from 3 runs down to win. And that fastball away. Alvarez looking a little agitated at the home plate umpire, Ryan Wills. Larnach tops one foul. 3-2. There's your umpiring quartet. Wills behind the plate. Lance Barksdale is your crew chief at first. Will Little and Ryan Addington rounding out the crew. 33-year-old Clay Holmes, his 349th game, his 40th career start. And he has taken to starting like a duck to water. Had a terrific first year as a starter and looks like even better this year. 3-2. Larnach lines one, and goes Lindor to snag it for the second out. Timed the lead perfectly. 2 down.
He was talking to Luis Robert Jr. saying, I am Windex. I can get up and clean that glass. Beautiful leap. Great timing.
Get him in the transfer portal.
He had a little bit of movement as well. He had to stay with it. Brilliant play.
So 2 out of nobody on. Now Josh Bell takes a big rip at a fastball. Bell was 0 for 3 last night. And Lindor has looked so much more like himself over the last week. He's starting to hit. The defense is there. Fly ball toward the left field line. Tommy Pham moves over, and he puts it away to retire the side. So Holmes, without a single ground ball, gets him out 1-2-3. Mets come to bat, no score.
Liz came in 1 out.
Juan Soto will slide into the number 2 spot in the batting order as the Mets Honda starting lineup. 4th different leadoff batter for the Mets in the last 6 games. Mets have gotten very little production out of that leadoff spot. So Bo Bichette, who started 82 times in the leadoff spot last year for the Blue Jays, will hit in front of Soto, with Lindor hitting cleanup for the first time since 2023.
Well, the young Connor Prelip called up from AAA St. Paul. 76 and 77 pitches his last 2 starts. His last one was his best. 5 innings, 8 strikeouts, only 1 run allowed.
They say he has got an outstanding slider, and he also is a ground ball pitcher. 56% ground balls in his 4 AAA appearances this year. Bo Bichette 1 for 4 last night. He slices 1 foul. 0-1.
Gary, American League team where they play Bichette defensively because they know him. Look at the infield for Minnesota. Second baseman is not up the middle, playing a standard second base position.
Bichette's base hit was to right field last night. A little duck snort off the end of the bat. And he pulls one up the bag, and that's a fair ball going down the line and into the corner. So they plan to go the other way. Bichette pulls one down the left field line. He's got a double to open matters tonight. And an instant RBI opportunity for Juan Soto. Juan was off to a hot start when he got hurt in San Francisco. Hit in all 8 games that he played. Missed 15 games and back tonight. And he takes first pitch slider for a strike. 0-1. Soto DHing tonight. He's only DH'd 23 games prior to tonight in his career, but he's done really well when he has. Chases the slider that time, and it's 0-2. 311 average, 8 home runs in 74 at bats as a DH. Worked the right calf running the bases in San Francisco. Calf injuries can sometimes linger for a long time, but the Mets feel as though they caught it early, and he's been able to do full speed running the last few days, getting himself ready to return. 3 sliders in a row, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Luis Robert waiting on deck.
Fans waiting for Soto to be the savior of the streets.
There's only so much one guy can do. Your turn only comes up every, 9th batter. This is the nature of the game. 1-2 coming, and he hits one in the air to center field. Put pretty well. Back goes Buxton. They'll get there at the warning track to make the catch. Taking it second is Bichette. He'll move over to third. So a productive out by Soto gets Bichette to third with 1 away.
Well, Mr. Prelip is lucky that this is not summertime. I mean, he crushed that ball. No wind, but it's cold. The ball does not travel as well as the cold. In the cold, maybe a little off the end.
104 miles an hour off the bat. Twins are going to bring the infield in. Try and choke off a run in the first inning. Luis Robert, the batter, 0 for 4 last night. He chases for strike 1. Robert has 2 home runs this year. They both come against lefties in just 14 at-bats against left-handers. The Mets are well below average in getting a runner in from third with less than 2 out.
Average is always around, what, 55% or so, Gary? Oh, it's on there. Sorry.
It's usually 53 to 55, somewhere in there. It's popped up in foul ground. Caratini comes back for a look, but that'll be out of play, and it's 1-2.
Mohegan Sun Twins defense. Got Lewis, Lee, Keishel, and Clemens in the infield. Larnick, Buxton, and Wallner. Buxton is an elite center fielder.
Prelip struck out 22 batters in 15 minor league innings this year. He needs a strikeout here with a runner at third and 1 out. Buries that slider low and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And you can see why they rave about that pitch.
Yeah, he's got both avenues working. He's got kind of the sink on his fastball working away from the right-hand hitter, the slider working down and in.
25-year-old from Toma, Wisconsin. And this is badly with the changeup, and now it's 3-2. You see the breakdown in the minor leagues for Prelip.
Cold weather shouldn't upset Prelip.
That curveball's a new pitch this year. Headed it to give him a little different look from the slider. Lindor on deck, 3-2 to Robert, and he struck him out. Got him with the slider, and so Prelip, needing a strikeout, gets a strikeout, and there are 2 away.
Even a veteran hitter, when they get up and a team has been struggling, sometimes they'll go out of that strike zone to make something happen. And we didn't see a lot of this from Robert Jr. early on this season.
See how Prelip spikes the slider?
Yeah, he's got it's almost like a knuckle curve.
So the infield drops back with 2 out for Lindor, and he goes after a first pitch breaking ball, 0-1. Lindor last hit cleanup in 2023. He has struggled from this side of the plate. He's hitting just 136 as a right-hand batter. One of the reasons why the Mets are 0-5 when a left-hander starts against them this year.
There's the freeze of the grip on that strikeout. He's right on that seam. And that middle finger is extended.
It's like that index finger is overlapping the middle finger.
Index. No one's seen this pitcher, right? So he's got the advantage. But real quickly, if you're on the bench, you're saying, hey, we got to get this guy up. Anything on the knees, let it go. We got to get him up thigh high or higher.
0-2 to Lindor with Bichette at third and 2 out. He's able to lay off that back foot slider, and it's 1-2. Francisco Alvarez sitting 5th in the order. He would be next. One-two coming. And Lindor fouls back the fastball. Got that one up to 97 miles an hour. Prelip averaged a little over 95.5 on that fastball in the minor leagues this year. And Lindor will lay off on a low curveball, and it's 2-2.
Nice take there by Francisco.
Lindor hit the 3-run homer last night that gave the Mets their runs. Grounds this one over the bag. That's a fair ball. The running toss by Lewis, not in time, and a run comes home. Lindor beats it out for an infield hit. Bichette comes in to score, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead.
How about a little small ball by the Mets here in the bottom of the first? The hustle by Francisco Lindor to first. Play not close. A double. Get him over. Get him in.
So Lindor gets the Mets the early lead for the second straight night. Came into this series with 1 RBI for the season. He's now driven in 4. 3 last night and the first one tonight. Here's Alvarez, and he takes a fastball upstairs for ball 1. Alvarez, who had been the Mets' hottest hitter, is now hitless in his last 9 at bats. And he has struggled against lefties, hitting just .158 against left-handers. Lindor trying to get a read on Prelip. And Alvarez fouls one into the ground on the slider, 1-1. Balls and a strike to Alvarez. Mark Vientos would be next. Bo Bichette led off with a double, moved over on Soto's fly ball, comes home on Lindor's infield hit. Now it's 2-1 to Alvarez. And he pops one up behind first base. Clemens into foul territory and chases it and catches it in fair territory to retire the side. Mets strike first, 1-0 after 1. Twins moved back over 500 with their win last night. Derek Shelton, the former Pirates manager, is taken over as the skipper. Taj Bradley, who the Mets will not see in this series, off to a great start. So is their offense. Victor Caratini leads off in the second. The veteran switch hitting catcher. Played with the Astros last year, had a good year. 728 OPS. We use him to DH. They use him some at first base, but he is at his primary position tonight doing the catching. Holmes picks off the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Caratini, then Cody Clemens and Luke Keeschel for the Twins in the second, after Holmes got the side out 1-2-3 on 10 pitches in the first inning. Caratini was originally drafted by the Braves out of Miami-Dade Junior College, but he made his big league debut with the Cubs and played with them for 5 years before he started moving around, now with his 5th team. He was always known as a bat-first catcher when he was with Chicago.
And I would say he's not the opposite now. He still can rake, but you know, he's that veteran presence behind the plate, knows how to call a game.
But as you said, you know, they take Jeffers out, they plug him right into that cleanup spot.
I mean, how many catchers do they do that in the big leagues? Very few.
Holmes couldn't get him to bite on a changeup, and he's got his second full count of the first 4 batters of the game. And Caratini bounces one down to Vientos. Holmes gets over the cover. 1 out. Score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, visit MLBshop.com/Mets, the official source for your Mets gear. So 1 out now. Cody Clemens, 1 for 3 last night. He had a double in the 7th and scored the tying run in that game. And he hits one on the ground to Semien. 2 ground balls, 2 outs for Holmes. You know, Clay Holmes came into the night with the 5th best ERA in the National League at 1.96. That's really good, right? Jose Soriano of the Angels today threw 5 scoreless innings. His ERA through his first 6 starts is 0.24. which, since the earned run was made an official stat in 1913, 113 years ago, is the lowest ERA for any pitcher through his first 6 starts of the season. Like Holmes, a sinker ball pitcher.
Throwing strikes. He always had that issue.
I mean, what an amazing start to a year. Luke Keeschel had a couple of big hits for the Twins last night. RBI single in the 7th that tied the game. RBI single in the 9th that put them in front. And Keishel pops one up on the left side. Lindor is settling under it. And another 1-2-3 inning for Clay Holmes. He's retired the first 6. 1-0 Mets in the second. Now some of the members of the Gotham FC women's soccer team in the National Women's Soccer League. They were out here throwing out the first pitch tonight. They're going to play a game here at Citi Field in July.
One of the best first pitches I've seen this year.
You notice that the women athletes who are non-baseball players throw better than the men athletes who are non-baseball players?
It's crazy.
Mark Vientos leading off in the home second.
I blame it on specialization.
Vientos 6 for 20 against lefties this year with one of his 2 home runs. Facing Connor Prelip in his second big league inning. So Prelip, we told you coming into the game, had a terrific slider. He threw that slider 13 out of 23 pitches in the first inning. That's something a reliever might do. You don't often see a starter doing that.
Well, I was saying before, 77 and 76 pitches in his last 2 starts. So this might be a 55 to 75 kind of outing for Mr. Prelip, but he looks good. Stays down in the zone, as you said, ground ball pitcher.
5 innings against Lehigh Valley in his last start on Thursday. And he gets Vientos with that slider. Second strikeout for Prelip. 1 down in the second.
It must be really break late because it looks disguised from his fastball. It looks the same coming in and then takes a little left turn or right turn if you're the pitcher.
So 1 out now. Marcus Semien has been the Mets' best hitter against lefties so far this year. Marcus is hitting .368 against left-handers. Semien led off last night for the first time this year. Went 0 for 3 with a walk. Batting in the 7th spot tonight. Prelip ahead of him 0-2. Steals that fastball up high. Ball and 2 strikes. Change up away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Prelip came out of the University of Alabama. 2nd round pick in 2022. Might have gone earlier, but he had Tommy John surgery the year before. And then after he turned pro, he needed another surgery in 2023. It was an internal brace surgery. So he basically had 2 Tommy John surgeries in a 3-year span. And so from 21 to 24, he pitched a total of 60 innings.
Losing all those development years, but this is more a story we hear all the time.
Well, he bounced back, and he was the Twins' minor league pitcher of the year last year. So they can repair him, and they can get him back up to speed. And the Mets are going to find that out for themselves tomorrow night with the return of Christian Scott, who is in the clubhouse and ready to be activated for tomorrow's start. It was great to see Christian, who's fought back so hard. Swing and a miss, and Semien goes down swinging on a slider.
Yeah, whenever I see these young men, now Joe Ryan, talented ace of the Minnesota team, Christian Scott, I always am proud of these guys that they work so hard to make it all the way back, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of butterflies for Christian tomorrow.
I mean, there was so much hype around Christian when he came up 2 years ago and pitched really well out of the gate. And then that elbow flared up, and he was only able to pitch in 9 games in the big leagues before he went down with Tommy John and missed all of last year. Here's Tommy Pham looking for his first hit as a Met. He's making his 3rd start tonight. And he swings and misses. I should say his first hit as a Met this time around.
Yes.
Tommy was with the Mets 3 years ago and had a great run. Ball misses, and it's 1-2. To make room for Soto's return, the Mets sent Hayden Senger back to AAA. So they have a little bit of an overload in the outfield now. 1-2 coming. But with Soto not necessarily playing every day in the outfield, at least early on, lessens that a little bit. DHing today, he'll play left field tomorrow, and then we'll see how he's fielding for the weekend. One-two to Pham. He watches the slider down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The offensive numbers have just been dreadful, and that's during the streak. But even for the full season, the Mets are now last in the majors in runs scored and on base percentage and slugging percentage. And Pham takes strike 3 called in Prelip in his second big league inning, strikes out the side. 1-0 Mets after 2. Clay Holmes has thrown just 20 pitches and getting the side in order in the first 2 innings. He'll face Matt Wallner leading off in the third. Wallner had the first hit for the Twins last night after Nolan McLean retired the first 15 batters. One pops out of the mid of Alvarez. Called the ball, 2-0. Wallner's off to a rough start despite his hit last night. 187 average, 35 strikeouts in his first 75 at bats. That's the most in the American League. And Holmes misses down with the sinker, and it's 3-0. Royce Lewis on deck, and then Brooks Lee, the lower third of the Minnesota batting order. Swinging 3-0, leading off the inning, and Wallner fouls it back. He's a power hitter.
Yeah.
Looking for one he could drive.
He got the pitch.
22 home runs last year. He's a big dude. A Minnesota native. Pulls one on the ground to Semien. He handles it and makes the play, 1 away. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
So, guys, I want to go back to something from last night. This prompted a lot of discussion on the broadcast, and today, the day after, it was in that at-bat before Byron Buxton hit the home run, where he comes up and in, does Nolan McLean, and then appears to say to Buxton, hey, my bad. And, Ronnie, you astutely saw that and pointed out, hey, that next pitch, Buxton may have been a little more comfortable because he thought that McLean was apologizing to him and wouldn't come up and in again. Now, I spoke to McLean about that, and he said that he actually wasn't apologizing to Buxton. He was apologizing to his catcher, Francisco Alvarez, who had called for a backdoor sinker, and he said, I missed that pitch by about 5 to 7 feet. Now, that's not to say that Buxton knew that that's what was happening, so maybe it had the same result anyway. But for me, what I actually found more interesting was the conversation about the thought process after we started to go through what happened in that particular moment. As Royce Lewis into shallow center field, and that'll drop for a base hit. But Nolan McLean had really been coming after Buxton with sinkers all night. The first 2 at-bats, 7 of the 9 pitches had been 2-seamers. And he thought in that third at-bat, you know what? I have to change up the program here because he's seen the 2-seamer so much. So he went with the cutter. Felt like he executed the pitch, and Buxton hit it out. And McLean the day after said it's kind of a learning process because you feel like third time through you've got to change it up, but maybe I should have just gone with what was working until it didn't.
Well, not so astutely on my part. I'll tell you what it looked like for me is that, and I owe an apology to Nolan McLean, and I will do that personally, is that after the pitch came in, my thought process was like, boy, he's been pounding him in. When I saw the my bad, I saw Buxton react to it. And so my eyes were peeled on Buxton to see what he would do. I did not take a peek at Alvarez, so I missed that. So we thought it was astute. It was not at all. But
Steve's point is well taken. Buxton may not have known that it was directed at Alvarez.
Yeah, but I should have accounted that maybe it was to Alvarez, so I missed that one. And my job is not to not miss him.
There goes Lewis, grounded to Simeon. He'll have to go to first with it, and that's the second out if Lewis takes second. Two down.
But Ron, can I ask you about the other point of the conversation?
Yeah.
Where you've got a young pitcher who is trying to learn, even with the type of stuff that he has, how to navigate a major league lineup 1, 2, 3 times, and that mental back and forth on the mound of trying to figure out, do I go with what's worked these first 2 times through, or do I need to, against big league hitters, change up the program?
Well, that's a good point, Steve, but I think that I trust Nolan and his feel so far in this sense is that coming off a ball where you miss, he said 5-6 feet. Of course, he didn't miss 5-6 feet, maybe a foot inside. Maybe you don't have the confidence to come back with that pitch because it feels like a ball out of your hand now. So maybe I've done so much in, it's time to go away. I can definitely see doing that. I've done it many times. I've even given up home runs, I'm sure, many times thinking like that. Wasn't the wrong thought. I know he thought it was a good pitch, cut her up. I thought it was not as good as the other pitches he threw last night.
Now Holmes behind on Buxton 2-0. Holmes has been throwing almost exclusively sinkers early in this game.
He reminds me, I haven't seen a game pitch like this since, do you remember Brandon Webb? Who used to pitch for the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Bowling ball sinker.
It feels like that watching Clay Holmes tonight.
And Webb won a Cy Young throwing his sinker about 80% of the time. Buxton flied out his first time up, and he takes that sinker low and in. It's 3-1. Holmes has made one prior career start against the Twins. That was last year at Target Field. He threw 5 good innings and got a win. And Buxton takes a strike, and it's 3-2.
One of his hardest fastballs tonight at 95 miles an hour.
He's obviously feeling it because he hasn't felt the need to throw much else. Throw a couple of change-ups, 1 sweeper. That's about it. 3-2. Lewis at second with 2 out. And Buxton flares one into shallow center. Back goes Simeon, and he makes the grab going away. He got a nice break on that ball to keep it from falling in. Still 1-0 New York. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the third, leading 1-0. Tyrone Taylor will lead off against the rookie left-hander Connor Prelip, who struck out the side in the second. Taylor making his 8th start of the year, takes a fastball up and away for ball 1. So while Clay Holmes has leaned on his sinker almost exclusively, Prelip has been slider heavy. We'll see if that changes as he moves toward the second time around the batting order. Starts off Taylor with a couple of fastballs.
It seems like the first time through the order, you have all the big names, and I think he just wanted to start that first inning having his slider ready to go. 9th place hitter, maybe a little more aggressive.
Connor Prelip, who was a high school quarterback back in Wisconsin. Like a latter-day Kenny Stabler, Jim Zorn. One-two coming to Taylor, and he tried to lay off, and he stopped it in time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bo Bichette on deck. Juan Soto behind him. Taylor chops that one into the ground. It was interesting listening to Carlos Mendoza before the game talk about the changes he's made in his batting order. 4 different leadoff hitters in the last 6 games. He said, I would much rather have a stable lineup. And certainly we've seen that the last couple of years. He made the one big switch 2 years ago when he put Lindor in the leadoff spot. But other than that, he's kept things pretty intact. But he said, when you're going through it like this, you can't just stay the same. You have to try and find a different answer.
Yeah, no, he's right. It's what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over. Let's go. Change it up.
7th pitch of the at-bat coming to Taylor. On Hold by Prelip, trying to get the hitter flat-footed. And he misses badly with the changeup, and it's 3-2. So far, that changeup has not been a good pitch.
Yeah, it's been up and away, not even close to the plate. Got to keep throwing it, though, because that's the only way to get a feel for it.
And he goes backdoor with the slider to get the call. Third strike, his 4th consecutive strikeout, and his 5th tonight. Bo Bichette batted lead off for the first time this year and led off with a double in the first.
You know, it's interesting with Prelip throwing the way he does. Royce Lewis should move closer to the line, because it's like watching Johan Santana when he used to pitch for the Mets. They'd move that third baseman closer.
Coming into tonight, Met leadoff hitters this year had a 163 batting average and a 267 on base percentage. Both of those were 29th out of 30 teams in the majors. So you understand why Mandy is flipping around his leadoff guys, looking for the right combination.
Bo batted batted leadoff enough when he was a Toronto Blue Jay.
Soto on deck and ready for his second at bat. Prelip has struck out the last 4. Bichette, though, makes contact and flies it foul into the netting. Bo hit leadoff in 82 games for the Jays last year, 162 times in his career coming into today. You know, we just had a plane fly over, and when we used to be at Shea, planes would fly over all the time, and hitters inevitably would step out or pitchers would step off. Now, you can't necessarily do that.
Can't do it.
You have to play through. Of course, we don't get as many flight patterns that sail over the ballpark anymore. In the dirt and bouncing away, 1-2.
2 pitches ago, if you have a third baseman who's not on the pitch column, when you call the slider down and in, Caratini, the catcher, can let him know, get to that line. That ball's going to come that way if it's put in play.
Now, can't a team at the plate see that and adjust for it?
They can, but you have to every once in a while fake it. Do it when it's going to be a fastball or a changeup away. I think it happens too quickly for the on-deck guy on deck to say anything. Yadier Molina used to do that all the time.
Another long at bat. 7th pitch coming to Bichette.
Ooh.
And that's a pitch clock violation for ball 2.
There we go.
Blame it on the airplane. And that one bounces away. So all of a sudden he's losing a little command of that breaking ball.
Veteran catcher who's taken a lot. The ball's in the dirt.
Fourth full count in the first 10 batters for Prelip. And Bichette skies one to center. Buxton glides over. 2 out.
So you keep throwing it, Gary, because that was his first good changeup. Good time to throw it, threw it for a strike, and just Bichette was a little out front.
So now Soto, who hit a deep fly ball to center that helped build a run in the first inning. You know, I mentioned this the other day. In 1983 when the Mets started off 6-15. They called up Darryl Strawberry, and the back page headline of the Daily News said, "Darryl, save us." And he was 21.
Right.
I mean, Soto's more of a position to, to provide an instant spark. But nobody in baseball can be a savior. Unless you're a starting pitcher. 1-1 to 1. And he lines one to right field, but that'll stay up for Walner, who makes the grab. So Soto's a couple of balls well in his first 2 at bats. 1-0 Mets after 3. Your Spectrum high-speed pitching has been pretty simple for Clay Holmes tonight. 32 two-seamers or sinkers out of the 36 pitches he's thrown.
One of the most remarkable numbers I've seen, where everyone in baseball seems to have 7 pitches and wants to use all 7 of them in the first half hour of the game.
Trevor Larnach hit a line drive that Lindor leaped for and grabbed in the first inning. Holmes just threw a changeup. Alert the media. That one's pulled over the bag. That's a fair ball. It's going to hit off the sidewall. And on to second base goes Larnach with a leadoff double. So Larnach's hit 2 balls hard.
Got one in the middle of the plate and up, about thigh high. And Vientos was way off the line, so an easy base hit as it goes over the bag. Kind of settles underneath, kills that speed. That's why that Taylor, by the time he got to it, a double for Larnach.
So the tying run at second with nobody out. Now Josh Bell, who flied out to left his first time up. The veteran switch hitter takes a sinker outside for ball 1. Bell now playing with his 7th team in his 11-year career. He was in Washington last year. His former team, the Nationals, ground ball to the right side, so that'll advance the runner. Semien throws out Bell as Larnach goes to third with 1 away. The Nationals play some of the most outrageous games. They lead the major leagues in runs scored, but they also lead the league in runs allowed.
Only 12 runs scored so far through 4 innings versus the Braves.
Yeah, and they had a 4-1 lead in the first inning. Nets will bring the infield in. Victor Caratini, the batter, grounded out to Vientos his first time up. And he takes that fastball high for ball 1. Caratini 5 for 16 with runners in scoring position, hitting over 300. And that sinker in for a strike. 1-1. Holmes has retired 10 of the first 12 batters, but he has not recorded a strikeout. His strikeout numbers are down from last year as his ground ball rate has gone up. He's averaging just 6.3 strikeouts per 9, which in this era in baseball is very low.
More like the 80s.
But now he's in a spot where he can use a strikeout, and he gets ahead by using the changeup. 1-2 to Caratini.
Boy, that kick change has been such a valuable pitch for Clay Holmes. He might try to come with that inside fastball. Starts it at Caratini's hip.
1-2. And the breaking ball line to center. Coming in is Robert. He's got it. Larnach tagging. He's going to try and score. The throw is up the line. And Larnach comes home with the tying run. It's the second throw in 2 nights for Robert that has just been off.
You know, when he has all the momentum coming in like this usually produces the best throw you can throw, but that didn't have a lot on it either. So I just saw him early in his career, and he had a cannon. Less of that right now.
So the Twins tie the game on the sacrifice fly by Caratini. Bell got him over. Caratini got him in. And it's 1-1. Now Cody Clemens takes a high sweeper for ball one. Clemens grounded out to second base his first time up. Each team now with a run on 2 hits. And another ground ball for Holmes. This one to Simeon. That retires the side, but the Twins scratch out a run to get even. It's 1-1 in the fourth.
Liz came in one afternoon with an inability to.
Twins from the past. Great batting champion Rod Carew, Hall of Famer. The great Harmon Killebrew, home run hitter. Another great hitter, Tony Oliva.
Boy, I liked watching him hit.
Kirby Puckett.
I only saw Kirby Puckett for one game in AAA. He only went 5 for 5.
Joe Mauer, recent inductee into the Hall of Fame. Of course, they started out as the original Washington Senators, moved to Minnesota, and then they put another franchise in Washington, which then moved to Texas. Luis Robert leading off in the home fourth against Connor Prelip, and he flies one into shallow right center. Keishel going back, coming in as Walner to make the catch. 1 out.
Harmon Killebrew, is it true that his parents owned a dairy farm and used to carry the big jug, 50-pound milk?
Idaho.
Idaho. There you go. That's how he got those big forearms.
Francisco Lindor drove in the Mets' run with an infield hit in the first. Mets have scored 4 runs in this series, and Lindor has driven in all 4. Luke Keishel has settled in and retired 8 in a row after Lindor's hit in the first. One from Prelip. He tries the slider, and it's low and in. 2 balls and a strike. Facing a pitcher that you've never faced before, you've seen a scouting report, you have a pretty good idea what he's going to feature. That's lined and off the glove of Lewis, rolling down toward the tarp. Lindor takes a turn. He's going to stop at first base. Lewis got the glove on it, but couldn't squeeze it on a line drive by Lindor, and he's aboard with 1 out.
Slowly, you're seeing a lot of hits produced by Francisco. You're seeing the ball hit hard almost every time up. And this play a little awkward by Lewis. Seemed like he got there but couldn't look it in. A lot of spin on that ball as it was working its way towards the foul line.
Lindor will get credit for his second hit of the night. So he's now 9 for his last 25. That's a 360 clip. Dancing off first as Alvarez steps in, and he lines one toward the gap in right center field. That's going to rumble between him and all the way to the wall. Lindor heading for third. He's going to be waved around. The relay throw to the plate by Keishel, and Lindor is safe. And the Mets regain the lead. Francisco Alvarez finding the gap in right center, doubles to drive in a run, and it's 2-1 New York.
I don't know. This might be my most favorite play in baseball. A line drive for a double. Kind of a hanging slider, one of the rare ones. And you can see Lindor taking off from first. Now it's just whether how quickly Buxton can get it in for the cutoff man. Doesn't put a lot on that throw and demanded a great throw from Keishel.
Now Mark Vientos takes a fastball high.
And he's deciding, and he decided early. We're having trouble scoring runs every chance. Wave him home.
watching Lindor run the bases, I think he thought he was going to score more easily than that.
He was laboring when he got there at the end. You're right.
Even between second and third, it looked like he had put it into low gear. Now, I don't know if he was hurting or if he thought that it was going to be a less close play.
I felt like he was laboring coming around. Like he just didn't have full gear working.
I mean, he's not running 100% by any means. And you can see him grimace as he comes around third. So that's something to keep their eye on. Now it's 2-0 to Vientos, who struck out his first time up. And he takes a slider for a strike, 2-1. Twins bullpen is about to get active. Ronnie's mentioned a couple of times Prelip has not gone beyond 77 pitches this year. He's about to throw his 70th in this game. Vientos takes that slider for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Watch when he touches third. Just a little hitch in his giddy up, just like he lost his stride.
You can see just a little grimace there. Up and away. I don't mean the McDonald's character. Marcus Semien waiting on deck. Another full count for Prelip. Vientos fouls it off. Francisco Lindor went down the tunnel after he scored, accompanied by one of the trainers. So let's see if he comes back out for the next half inning. Seventh pitch coming to Vientos. And he fouls off that slider to stay in the at bat.
On the night you get Soto back.
And we'll see. We've seen Lindor play through so many hurts over the last few years. Again, the 3-2, and he got him with a changeup. Nicely done by Prelip as he gets Vientos for the second time, his sixth strikeout.
Prelip has thrown two big changeups. He got Bichette on an out to center field, and then this one to get Vientos after all those sliders. Has it going the other way.
Garrett Acton is up in the Minnesota bullpen as Prelip tries to get through the fourth. Probably be his last inning. Marcus Semien the batter. Keishel ran in behind Alvarez at second base, and so the lefty stepped off. Semien struck out his first time up. And he pulls one foul. That's answering after the Twins got the tying run home in the fourth. Infield hit by Lindor, double by Alvarez to go back in front. Semien grounds one to third. Lewis lost his footing, gets off, bounces the throw, it gets by Clemens. Alvarez takes a turn, but he'll hold it third. Well, that play got messed up because Lewis lost his footing at third base and then had to hurry the throw.
So he comes in. Now that ball took a little funny bounce and it went to his left, so to stop, he kind of lost his footing and then bounces his throw on the short hop. Really tough for Clemens. Tries to come up with it, but it kind of skidded on the wet turf. And Alvarez was thinking about it. Once he get past third base, once it went away, Liepert said, though, a base at a time.
Error charge to Lewis. First and third, 2 out. Here's Tommy Pham looking for his first hit of the season. He's gone 0 for 9 after striking out looking in the second. Pham watches the changeup down 2-0. Well, the Twins came in having really struggled defensively. They're 28th in defensive runs saved. First time in this series that we've seen that. And the Mets trying to take advantage. There goes Semien, swung and missed, and Semien steals second without a throw. So now 2 in scoring position as Semien steals his second base of the year, and they both come exactly the same way.
Yeah, Minnesota never intended to defend that play.
2-1 to Pham. He takes that backdoor slider for a strike, and it's 2-2.
I think Tommy has to be in the mode of just trying to hit the ball up the middle.
The rookie pre-lap, and it misses inside 3-2. Tyrone Taylor would be next. I have a feeling this is going to be Prelip's last batter no matter what.
Probably another slider down and in.
Already his 6th full count. 3-2. Lifted down the right field line. Wallner coming over and makes the grab to retire the side. Alvarez drives in the run with a double. That's back up 2-1. Well, as we feared, Francisco Lindor has been forced to come out of this game after appearing to tweak something on his way around the bases, scoring the go-ahead run. So Bo Bichette will move over and play shortstop, where he's played most of his career, and Brett Beatty comes in to play third base. Clay Holmes now with the 2-1 lead. Luke Keeschel leads off in the 5th and takes a sinker for a strike, 0-1.
Whenever I see these things happen, I feel like this is an automatic ground ball to shortstop.
Ball will find you. Keeschel popped up to short his first time up, and he grounds one to third instead. Beatty just into the game, stumbles, gets up, and Vientos with the stretch is able to stay on the base, and they get the out. Wasn't elegant, but it worked out fine. One away.
So the ball's going to come into one of the new infielders, and he came into Beatty. He's done a nice job of this with his footwork, getting on the outside part of the bag. Boy, that's close, though.
The Twins looked at it, but decided not to challenge. Seven ground ball outs for Holmes among his 13 outs tonight. That's about where he's been all year. .49 pitches, 41 sinkers. They get 42 out of 50. I mean,
it's amazing.
I've never seen anybody quite this stark in terms of his single pitch focus. But he obviously feels like he has a good one. against a team that hits the fastball well.
Yeah, maybe he just feels as though they were going to come in a little patient and he wanted to fill the strike zone.
Pulled the string there on the changeup, and it's 1-2 to Wallner, who grounded out to second base his first time up. Hey, did they change the flight patterns tonight? All of a sudden, it's like we're at the old Shea.
Keith was doing the game, he'd have to leave the booth.
One, two coming. And Wallner bloops one into shallow center. That's going to fall for a base hit. So the Twins have their third hit of the night, a one-out single for Wallner. Don't miss the chance to have your youth baseball or softball team's picture featured in an upcoming Mets game on SNY. Just scan the code and submit your team photo today. Will we accept dogs in baseball uniforms?
Oh, there are some tonight, right?
Bark in the park now.
The little leaguers.
Here's Royce Lewis. He dumped a single into right center in the third inning. His first hit in this series. Lewis's second game back off the injured list. He was out with a knee problem.
Lewis with the greater than and less than eye block.
See, I was going for 7 and backward 7. Like, 7 and 7.
Okay.
Fouls that one into the ground. Ball and 2 strikes. Round the Majors brought to you by New York Presbyterian. Munetaka Murakami could tie the rookie record for home runs in consecutive games. 5 is the record. He's got 4 going into the night. And Lewis foul tips it for strike 3. Tried to stop the swing, but his bat tipped the sweeper into Alvarez's glove. And that's the first strikeout of the night for Clay Holmes. 2 out.
He didn't throw many sweepers, but this might have been his best one. Started almost inside corner of the plate and ended up a foot outside. No, you put that Murakami up. Had 246 home runs for Tokyo to his age 26 season.
There's Brooks Lee, the switch hitting shortstop, and he takes a sinker for a strike. Well, people had questions about Murakami, whether he could hit velocity in the major leagues, and so far he has.
He's a real 3 true outcome kind of player.
Right, a lot of strikeouts. Like the Japanese Kyle Schwarber.
I know it's a different competition, but there's only a few major league players that had that many home runs through age 26 season. A-Rod being number 1.
Kendry Rojas just called up yesterday up in the bullpen. Vientos handles the ground ball from the lead. And Clay Holmes with a shutdown inning after getting the lead. 2-1 halfway through.
We all want.
Go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The Mets with the 2-1 lead. And for the second time tonight, the Twins will roll out a pitcher making his major league debut.
Kendry Rojas came over from the Toronto Blue Jays for Louis Varland and Ty France.
It was last summer when the Twins unloaded virtually their entire bullpen. And here's Rojas, 23 years old, from Cuba. I don't know this, but I'd have to guess that he's named after Kendry Morales.
Yeah, right.
Because it's not a common name. And Morales was a great Cuban player. And Taylor takes one the other way for a leadoff hit. So the Mets have a leadoff base runner in the 5th. Bo Bichette coming up, and we check in with Steve.
Guys, Bo Bichette, after this big offseason contract that he signed, off to a slow start this season, no doubt about it. But he's far from unique in that regard. We went back and we looked at the top 10 free agent position player contracts that were given out this offseason, and almost all 10 of the players are off to really poor starts compared to their career average so far this season. In fact, only 2 of them, as that one goes into the netting foul, only 2 of the players are having as good or better starts to the season, and those two are Cody Bellinger and Kyle Schwarber. What's the common denominator there? They both re-signed with the organizations that they were a part of a year ago. And I do think it speaks to the human element of all of this, where you go to a new team, you're coming into a situation where a lot is expected of you, you're trying to impress people. It's not as simple as just walking in and right off the bat having the type of production that you're used to throughout the course of your career. There's just an adjustment period. It's human nature.
And there's so much that people don't even think about, especially for players who have spent their entire careers in one organization like Bichette has. Here's a double play ball. Keishel, the second one, lead back to first for the 4-6-3 double play, 2 out. I mean, you have to move your family. You have to figure out where you get coffee in the morning. I mean, it's just more complicated than stepping on a field and putting on a new uniform.
Well, for someone who came from a small town in Massachusetts, when I got here, I was like clueless. Like, I want to live in Manhattan. How do I do that? What's a good apartment? Where do I live? What area of town? I ended up settling on Murray Hill on 33rd and 3rd. But there's a lot of things you don't know, and a lot of times you have one day to do it. I remember we come out of spring training, you'd have one day to find all of those things and where you belong, but at the same time, you're grinding to get people out, in my case, as a pitcher, or to get some hits if you're an everyday player.
Well, here's Juan Soto, who just returned from the injured list from a calf injury. And we just got word on Francisco Lindor. He left tonight's game with left calf tightness.
Oh, gee. Can't make that stuff up. I think that was a ball. No.
It was a strike.
It is a strike. The Mets have 1 challenge remaining.
Huh. It's only a strike because Soto's been out for 15 games.
You would expect him to always win his challenges.
Yes.
ABS powered by T-Mobile, 1-1 to Soto. So Mets get a player back from a calf injury, and now Lindor leaves the game with what they're calling calf tightness, which I recall is exactly what they called it for Soto when he got hurt in San Francisco. They called it right calf tightness. Juan pops one up in foul ground, and that'll go into the seats out of play. 2-2.
I mean, you can't make it up.
I mean, this is why we can't have good things.
That's right. I only hope it's just for Francisco on the team, just a minor strain that they want to be careful with.
Well, I do know one thing. It takes a lot to get Lindor out of the game.
He's a gamer.
He's played with broken fingers and broken toes and a bad back. Fastball just missed from Rojas. Full count. Connor Prelip in his big league debut. 4 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts, 82 pitches. Rojas picking up from there. And he bounces that slider. And is that a swing for strike 3?
No.
Or
Ball
was it,
4.
It was ball 4. Excuse me.
Yeah, got away from the catcher. So, and I think that Soto wasn't taking any chances.
Well, he was thinking maybe he could get to second if the catcher could not retrieve that ball quickly. So that's the first walk the Mets have drawn tonight. Of course, it's Soto. And now Luis Robert bats with a man aboard. And that seems like a little thing. But the 2-out walk extends the inning, gives Robert a chance to hit one of the gap and get a run home. And, you know, you talk about the difference that Soto makes in your lineup. It's a small thing, but it could lead to something big.
Well, usually it's the big things, right? He'll do something, 2-run homer or whatever. This game, he has hit a ball on the nose to center field at 104 miles an hour that moved the runner over. His second at bat hit a bullet to right field, 104 miles an hour, and now walks in his third at bat.
Oh, 2 to Robert. And he laces one to left center, but overcomes Buxton to make the grab. Robert hit it hard. Side retired. After 5, Mets 2, Twins 1. Clay Holmes has been dominating with his sinker all night. And he's been pitch efficient as a result, to 60 pitches in 5 innings. Throwing his sinker 80% of the time over the first 5. First 2 times through the batting order. Now Byron Buxton up for the 3rd time, and he yanks that sinker foul.
Well, Clay wanted to go deeper into games this year. He wanted to be more efficient with his pitches, wanted to get some early outs at Holmes, and you can see his numbers. Just I've never seen him pitch with this kind of usage.
I mean, that's the way he worked as a closer. Sweeper in for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Buxton, who's fly to right and popped to second. Holmes already has a 7-inning outing under his belt. He threw 7 scoreless against the Giants. Down with the changeup, and it's 1-2. Trevor Larnach on deck, and then Josh Bell for the Twins. Who got their offense started in the 6th inning last night. And Buxton drills one to deep left field, and that's going to tie the game. Buxton in the 6th inning for the 2nd straight night. His 5th home run of the year, and it's 2-2. Well, last night he hit a cutter against Nolan McLean. Tonight he hits a sinker against Clay Holmes to get the Twins even.
Yeah, that one just stayed in the middle of the plate. Now in his last 14 games, he's got 5 home runs and 16 runs scored for Buxton.
Well, last year he was finally able to stay healthy for a full season. And Buxton had 35 home runs.
He's got a different kind of gear and strength.
I mean, he's had so many injury problems. Last year was only the 3rd time in 12 years he'd played in over 100 games. And when he stays on the field, this is the kind of damage he can do.
No leg kick, no toe tap, no stride. Bullet.
Trevor Larnach doubled and scored the first Twins run, and he takes strike 3 called for the 1st out.
And guys, maybe that makes Nolan McLean feel better about his choice yesterday, 3rd time through against Buxton. Remember earlier in the game we were talking about how he thought he went too sinker heavy against Buxton the first 2 at bats, so the 3rd at bat changed it up. Buxton hit the cutter out. Tonight Clay Holmes going sinker heavy all 3 times. Buxton still hits the sinker out, so sometimes you just have to tip your cap to a great player, Byron Buxton.
Good point, Steve. He's a seminal player. When he's healthy, he does things that other people cannot do.
Now Josh Bell is 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 5 in this series. And Bell golfs one in the air to right center. He's going to get it. It's going to be Robert making the grab, 2 out.
We haven't even seen Buxton run yet. Have you ever seen him run? It's a different gear.
It's funny, you know, last year Buxton stole 24 bases. He wasn't caught. He hasn't attempted a steal yet this year. I don't know whether that's because it's just trying to stay healthy or what.
He hasn't been on the bases a lot. When he hits, it's home runs, especially in this last 14 games.
So 2 out and nobody on after the home run. Here's Caratini. And he takes a sinker for a strike. Caratini hit a sacrifice fly to center field that drove in the first Minnesota run. Batting here with 2 out and nobody on. You know, you gave that stat earlier that Hitters are 3 for 39 against Holmes with men on base, and giving up a hit with a man on base tonight. Sometimes that hit with nobody on base can hurt you too.
Yes, it can.
Third home run Holmes has given up this year. He's always going to be a pitcher who suppresses the home run because of his sinker.
Well, just the transition has been remarkable. You know how many pitchers of recent note have tried to go from the bullpen to being a starting pitcher? Almost all failures.
Notable exceptions: Seth Lugo, who's having another terrific year. Michael King.
Seth was starting even when he was relieved.
Yeah, well, he thought he was a starter. And that's true of most guys who make the transition. In Holmes's case, he had kind of given up on the idea of starting until it was brought up to him during his free agency. And that missed for ball 4. So Caratini's on with a 2-out walk. First walk of the night for Holmes. You see the progression last year. Threw more innings last year than he had in the previous 2 years combined. And he tired a bit toward the end of the season, but it didn't take the toll on his results the way, say, it did for David Peterson. There's Cody Clemens, and he takes a breaking ball high for ball 1.
So this inning, the ball coming up a little bit in the strike zone from Holmes.
That's ripped past Vientos and down the line. Caratini around second on his way to third. As Taylor digs it out, they're going to stop Caratini at third base. Cody Clemens ripping a double down the right field line to put runners at second and third. Justin Willard out to the mound after this ringing double.
Well, it was supposed to be away and down. It was down and in, which is sweet spot for those left-handed hitters. The ball was by Vientos before he moved. And the catcher Caratini, not enough speed to score from first on that double.
104 miles an hour off the bat of Clemens. So Cody's able to hit it harder than his father ever threw it.
Although his dad got close.
Never seen Cody, try and throw a broken bat. Tobias Myers up in the Mets bullpen as Holmes is weakened here in the 6th. Home run, walk, double, and a huge out now, trying to keep this game tied. Luke Keeschel, who had 2 big RBIs last night, pops up the first pitch into shallow right. Out goes Semien to make the grab. Side retired. Big out for Holmes. Twins tie the game on Buxton's home run. Soup dumplings. How do they close them just enough so that the soup comes out at just the right speed?
It's like a silk purse pocket. It's so beautiful.
Nanchang soup dumplings, southern Chinese cooking.
I'm gonna have to try theirs. I'm more of a Joe Shanghai, but I can make an adjustment.
They have their soup dumpling restaurant in Flushing. Brett Beatty up for the first time in the game, which is now tied 2-2. Beatty took over in the batting order spot of Francisco Lindor, who left with tightness in his calf. And Kendry Rojas throws him a nice slider and gets even a ball and a strike. Rojas gave up a hit and a walk in his first big league inning, but survived it without giving up a run. Spins that one low, and it's 2-1. Alvarez and Vientos to follow after Beatty, who had a base hit last night. Just his second hit in his last 26 at bats. Fastball up and in, 3-1. The Twins rolling out 2 lefties in their major league debuts tonight. Connor Prelip went the first 4, and now Kendry Rojas working his second inning. And Beatty takes the walk. So Beatty works out the walk against the lefty. Second walk given up by Rojas. Get ready for Draft Day 2026 as our team of Jets analysts will be in studio and on site in Pittsburgh and Florham Park to bring you an in-depth first-round preview and recap on Jets Nation. Draft Day special presented by Verizon tomorrow starting at 5 p.m. only on SNY. Francisco Alvarez has the Mets' biggest hit in this game. He doubled to right center to drive in a go-ahead run in the 4th. Twins then tied it in the top of this inning on Buxton's home run. Beatty's got the speed to steal a base at first, but when you've got a lefty on the mound you've never seen before, it's got to be pretty hard.
And he's got a great move. He showed it earlier. I mean, in the last inning. So watch out at first base.
Pops that fastball on the outside corner at 97, and it's 1-1. Alvarez, good swing at that fastball and fouled it back 1-2. For Brett Beatty, just his second walk in 71 plate appearances this season. Carrying the tie-breaking run at first in the bottom of the 6th.
Runner is looking for that right knee to go past his left knee.
Broken back grounded to short. Lee gets it to second. Keishel on to first for the double play. Second straight inning that Rojas has gotten a double play grounder. 6-4-3, 2 out.
See the turn here by little toss. Keishel from the side barely gets Alvarez at first. Took some time, but they got it done.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Mark Vientos, who was up twice against Prelip and struck out both times.
This young left-hander is a little uncomfortably wild. Throw a couple of balls and then 2 on the outside corner.
He made a couple of starts in the minor leagues before his call-up, so they may be asking him to go several innings in this game.
Kind of a piggyback game for them with 2 debut left-handers.
The Twins got 4 scoreless innings from their bullpen last night. First time they had 4 hitless innings from their bullpen this year. '23-year-old Cuban lefty Rojas ahead 1-2 on Vientos. And the backdoor slider got him looking. Side retired.
Batter's challenging the strike call.
Well, Vientos is going to challenge the call. Mets are down to 1 challenge left after Soto lost 1. This one, though, they win. And that keeps the at-bat going. Make the right call with Sterling Optical. See clearly and look great doing it. Two and 2 to Vientos. I mean, you'd say that 2 out and nobody on is not a good time, but if it's that obvious, then it is a good time.
But what happens on that pitch, because the umpire doesn't know, the pitcher as well, is that the ball's starting to break like it's going to hit the outside corner and then stopped. That's what confused the umpire.
Now it's 3-2 to Vientos. Rojas has already walked a pair, and he walks another. So 3 walks to the first 7 batters that he's faced in the big leagues. Survived the first 2, helped by a couple of double plays. Now Marcus Semien will come up against him.
Pete Mackey coming out to speak to his young left-hander.
Nobody up in the bullpen, although that's about to change for the Twins. Somebody's getting up as we speak. So in Boston tonight, the Yankees lead the Red Sox 4-0 after 8. They shut out the Red Sox last night. They shut out the Royals on Sunday. The last time the Yankees had 3 straight shutouts, the starting pitchers were Ralph Terry, Bill Stafford, and Whitey Ford.
Early 60s.
In 1962.
There you go.
I mean, that's crazy.
Wow.
Would have thought it would have happened more recently. I know the Mets had one. Was it 2010 when they shut out the Phillies in 3 straight games?
That's right.
So Vientos aboard with 2 out. Here's Marcus Semien, who struck out and reached on there, 0 for 2. Semien takes a strike. Former Met Eric Orsi is up in the Minnesota bullpen. Back-to-back changeups from Rojas, and it's a ball and a strike. Rojas made 1 start in A-ball, 1 start in AAA, and here he is in the big leagues.
That's 3 of the split finger change that he throws in a row.
One and 2 to Semien. Vientos a very short lead at first. And it's upstairs 2-2. Last year, Rojas, because he got traded in the middle of the season, played for 5 different minor league teams in 4 different leagues.
Gee.
I mean, getting to know you was a little hard. Semien might have just gotten a piece of that. Or maybe he was close to catcher's interference.
Well, I think Caratini was pounding his glove because he felt like he should have caught that, but that's pure luck.
Tommy Pham would be next.
Vientos should be careful at first. He might try to get that final out with a real good pickoff move. Just be careful. Stay awake.
Twins 2 runs, 5 hits. The Mets 2 runs, 5 hits. We're in the 6th. 2-2 from Rojas. He goes to that changeup again and missed. 3-2. So now Vientos can be on his way. With the right-hand hitter up, Clemens is going to continue to hold him at first base to keep him from scoring on a double. And Semien rockets one out to left field. Back goes Larnach. It's over his head and 1 hop to the wall. Vientos to third. He'll be held up there. He's going to run through the stop sign. And he's thrown out at the plate. Tim Leeper was holding Vientos, but Mark ran through the stop sign. And the relay throw by Brooks Lee gets him at the plate to keep the go-ahead run from scoring. Lee right on the money to Caratini for the tag. 7th inning, Matt Wallner fouls off the first pitch from Clay Holmes, who's out there to try and complete 7 for a 2nd straight start. After Mark Vientos was thrown out trying to score from first on a double by Marcus Semien to end the bottom of the 6th.
Well, you can see the stop sign by Tim Leeper. Vientos doesn't see it, but even better, bare hand from Larnach to Brooks Lee, and he had plenty of time to throw a strike to Caratini.
You know, we had spoken right before that play about the fact that the Twins held the runner at first, which used to be something nobody did. A lot of teams do it now for just that purpose. How much of an impact do you think it had on Vientos getting thrown out?
Oh, huge.
Vientos handles the ground ball from Wallner, and that's the first out.
Because the big thing about Semien first, the base hit over the head of Ronick. Watch him get it barehanded. And he put something on it. So that made it real easy for Lee to just throw a strike. That's not a long throw for Lee. That's just outside of the shortstop position. When you have guys, Gary, that are big home run hitters and they don't run great, it's because it takes them a while to get going. So when you play the first baseman off, he gets that little running start. It means a lot to the big guys.
Royce Lewis fouls one off. Vientos running for it, but it's ball back in the crowd.
You also have the threat of Rojas and the steal and the pickoff. So he picks it up. He kind of never looked at Leaper. He decided at one point that he was running no matter what.
And I think, you know, we talk all the time about guys trying to do too much because the team's in a losing streak. I have to think that's a big example.
Yeah, you want to put the team ahead. It's there's hustle and then there's really intelligent hustle, and that's the key, right?
Well, you have to know your limitations too. And the breaking ball in for a call, third strike to Lewis. Strikeout number 3 for Holmes. Second time he's gotten Royce Lewis. So Holmes continues to excel, hoping that those around him can excel as well. There's Brooks Lee, who's been up twice and grounded out both times. Better than last night when he was up 4 times and struck out all 4. But he made a perfect throw to the plate to get Vientos just moments ago. And, you know, if you look at defensive runs saved, Brooks Lee is right at the bottom of all the shortstops in the majors, but he's made all the plays in this series so far. Slaps one to third, grabbed by Beatty on the run. Side retired. 1-2-3 for Clay Holmes. We're going to keep it here for the singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, presented by New York Presbyterian. Here's their comeback day honoree, Ken Bridgelaw.
Hey Mets fans, New York Presbyterian wants to help you stay amazing during the game and every day. It's time to get up and stretch. Here to perform Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Please join us in welcoming back to the field our comeback day honoree, Ken Bridgelaw.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Fans, your attention, please.
Terrific rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Now it's time for Lazy Mary.
But you gotta have it. I always love the scene in The Wedding and The Godfather when they sing this Lazy Susan in Italian.
What's nice is that we rarely are on the air for Lazy Mary.
Right. They're usually selling. This is how much fun the people have at the 7th inning stretch
The left fielder, Tommy.
with their dogs, barking the park.
Former Met Eric Orsi
Made his
will pitch for the Twins.
Sorry, Gary. Made his debut with the Mets in 2024. Pitched against them a couple times last year with the Tampa Bay Rays.
That's traded him to Tampa Bay to get Jose Siri. Tommy Pham leads off against him in the bottom of the 7th. And you'll see a lot of that. Sliders, splitters. Pham is 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 10 to start his season. And he tried to hold on the splitter, and he held it in time, according to Lance Barksdale. A ball and a strike. Orsey, who was a two-time cancer survivor. Great story just getting to the major leagues.
The pitch to hit for Pham here.
Got a fastball and fouled it back. Orsey has thrown his splitter 65% of the time so far this season over his 8 appearances. Splitter misses down. It's 3-2. Tyrone Taylor due up next. And still have a left-handed bench with Benj and Melendez, but for the moment Taylor is out on deck. You have to figure you see a splitter here, right? 3-2.
Doesn't want to walk him though.
And he got him looking at the slider right at the knees. Pham is out to start the bottom of the 7th.
So after all the splitters, he did give Pham a fastball 2-0, and I think Pham was looking for that pitch again, fooled by the slider.
So Taylor's going to stay in and face the right-hander. Run had a base hit to right field his last time up. And he hits one softly to the right side. Clemens fields, flips, or as he reaches behind him, and they make the play for the second out.
That was really well done by Cody Clemens. If he had waited back, that would have been a base hit. He came and charged it, and then just had a little shuffle pass to Orsey. They executed that perfectly.
What's the key for the pitcher there when he has to look back for the ball and then find the base?
You're just as Clemens is fielding that, you have your eye on the base, so you have the direct attack to it. But as you get closer to him, you know that it's going to be shuffled. You hope it's in front of you, but you anticipate it behind you because he's behind you.
So Orsey's retired the first 2. Now Bo Bichette, who led off the first inning with a double and scored a run. 1 for 3 on the night. And takes a fastball up and in from Orsey, ball 1. So Kendry Rojas had plenty of traffic in his first 2 big league innings. 2 hits and 3 walks, but no runs. 2 double plays and a runner thrown out at the plate. That's living right.
Right.
Slider fouled off, and it's a ball and a strike to Bichette. Brooks Raley up in the Mets bullpen. Up the top of the batting order coming up from Minnesota in the 8th. Clay Holmes going 7 for the second time this season. Ball and 2 strikes to Bichette. One, 2 coming, and he got him looking. Side retired. Orsey strikes out a pair in a 1-2-3-7. 2-2 going to the 8th.
Mercedes-Benz post-game live on the way. Go and take a look at Clay Holmes. 7 solid tonight.
Yeah, and aggressive with the sinker. We'll also look at Mark Vientos and the play that we just saw.
All right, Mets need runs. See you guys on the post-game.
That's an understatement.
We don't hear the pre- and post-game show imploring the home team for some runs.
Well, can only imagine what it's like for these guys, many of whom are playing for this team for the first time, and in the first 23 games of the year they've experienced a losing streak that many players never experienced their entire career. Brooks Raley is on to pitch for the Mets as we go to the 8th. Byron Buxton, who tied this game with a 6th inning home run, first man to face him and can't catch the sinker. 0-1.
Really, this is the 4th time he's appeared in a game in 8 days, so much used now.
Pitched 2/3 of an inning in Chicago Sunday. No runs, 1 hit. And gets that sweeper in for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Buxton with Trevor Larnach and Josh Bell to follow. Buxton's home run was his 5th of the year. And the backdoor sweeper gets him looking. Beautiful pitch by Raley. Buxton retired, 1 out. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official health and wellness partner of the New York Mets. By Hyundai, test drive a new Hyundai today only at your local Hyundai dealer. And by Suffolk Credit Union via HELOC Hero and Suffolk Credit Union. Going to get a pinch hitter, Austin Martin, who's been a terrific part-time player for the Twins early this season. Will get the call against the left-hander. And Riley fires a knee-high sinker for a strike, 0-1. Austin Martin is from DeLand, Florida. It sounds familiar?
Yes, it is.
It's Jacob deGrom's hometown. He didn't go to Stetson, though. He went to Vanderbilt. Smart kid.
Well, Jacob wanted to stay at home.
Jacob's pretty smart in his own right.
Yes.
Martin last year hit .282 for the Twins in 156 at bats. Well, to an even better start this year. And that one never got to the outside corner, and now it's 3-1.
I always judge Raley. If his ball's down, it is electric. He flutters that glove to make sure he's not tipping his pitches.
Now that's away, ball 4, and Martin's on with a 1-out walk. The second walk given up by Met pitchers tonight. Clay Holmes was terrific again. 88 pitches in 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, a home run. His ERA through 5 starts is an impressive 2.10. Now Josh Bell turns around about right-handed for the first time in this series, and he takes fastball just off the plate for ball 1.
Austin Martin at first has an awfully big lead.
He's got a couple of steals this year, but he's been caught 3 times. That sinker misses away, and it's 2-0. Bell has been swinging the bat better as a right-hand hitter this year, hitting .282 from this side of the plate. Alvarez out to talk to Raley, who's now missed with 6 of his last 7 pitches.
There's some times in his other stops, Josh Bell, that from the right side he was an out. He's changed it here in Minnesota so far in the early going.
Well, the Yankees beat the Red Sox tonight, but they did not get the shutout. The Red Sox got a run in the bottom of the 9th, 4-1 the final. So Stafford, Terry, and Ford are safe. Yankees have now won 5 in a row. 2-0 to Bell, who's 0 for 6 in this series, and he lines one out of left field for a base hit. Martin pulls in at second. So Josh Bell with his first hit of the series, and the Twins have a threat going in the 8th. 2 on and 1 out.
Well, he's got to throw a strike. So he took a little bit of off that. Bell got it a little off the end, but he's so strong.
Justin Willard out to the mound to talk to Raley. Luke Weaver is up in the Mets bullpen. Taylor Rogers, the lefty, is up in the Minnesota bullpen as we play in the 8th. Coming up after the postgame show tonight, it's on to Sports Night. We'll get you ready for the NFL draft. Knicks and Hawks game 3. Mets and Twins. Either be talking about 1 in a row or 13 in a row. There's Taylor Rogers. Mirror twin. Victor Caratini turns around about right-handed, and he takes cutter for a strike. Caratini drove in a run with a sac fly in the fourth. He's also drawn a walk. If the Mets, you'd rather see him batting right-handed. He's a better left-hand hitter. And then you've got another left-hand hitter on deck in Clemens. So Raley trying to extricate himself, looking to get that ground ball from Caratini. Came low and in that time. Ball and a strike. Really happy to have that one back. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It was one of those you don't always get back. Caratini was just a little late. Caratini very intense once he gets ready for the pitch to come.
It's got that Jose Ramirez sneer.
Yes.
1-2. Lifted foul down the right side. That'll go out of play. Martin at second, Bell at first with 1 out. 1-2 coming, and it's popped up, not very deep in center. Robert comes in and has it. Martin stays put at second, 2 out. So now Clemens is being called back, and we're going to get a right-hand hitter. It's got to be Ryan Jeffers, who's the only right-hand hitter left on the bench. Keishel is next, but there is Jeffers, who caught last night. So Jeffers will bat for Clemens, and then I guess Caratini will go to first, and Jeffers will go behind the plate. And with the right-hand hitter coming up, Carlos Mendoza wants Luke Weaver to face him. So Raley is out after 2/3 of an inning. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Nissan. Shop NissanUSA.com. State good hands replay. 6th inning. Marcus Semien hits one over the head of Trevor Larnach, who plays it neatly off the wall. Perfect relay to Brooks Lee on the fly to the plate, and Mark Vientos is a dead duck. That kept the game tied at 2. We're still tied at 2 now in the top of the 8th, and Luke Weaver will come in to try to get the 3rd out of the inning.
Well, Weaver's numbers in his last appearance were good against the Cubs. Got 4 outs. Allowed nothing.
He came in behind Raley in that game as well. After Raley gave up a hit and a wild pitch, Weaver got him out of that inning, and then pitched a 1-2-3/8. Facing Ryan Jeffers, who went 0 for 3 and a walk last night. Jeffers pinch hitting for Clemens.
Big numbers this year for Jeffers with runners in scoring position.
He's 0 for 2 in his career against Weaver. Martin, the tie-breaking run at second. Bell at first with 2 out. And the first pitch way off his plate, and it's ball 1. I think Weaver had a problem with his landing area there. Do a little housekeeping before he throws the next pitch. This is with a fastball, and he's fallen behind 2-0. And again, fussing with his landing area after throwing that pitch.
Well, he's landing in the same place that Holmes lands in, and Holmes got, I don't know what the size of his shoes are, but they're pretty big.
Now that's off the outside corner, and now it's 3-0. Keishel, another right-hand hitter on deck. Jeffers taking all the way, 3-1. Well, maybe he'd be swinging 3-0.
I thought so too, but he was patient last night and patient here in this at bat.
One of the walks against Devin Williams in the 9th inning last night. Weaver stepping off.
Weaver stepping off because when he went into a stretch, he almost dropped the ball, but he regrouped.
Dropped the ball. It's a balk.
That's right.
(3-1) coming. And Jeffers takes it high, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So Weaver comes in and makes his task more difficult. Now he's going to take on Luke Keishel, who drove in the tying and winning runs last night with the bases loaded and 2 out.
With Jeffers, you had some holes. For Keishel, more of a contact type hitter.
He has the 8th highest contact rate in the major leagues, almost 87%. It'll be his first time facing Weaver. Martin at third, Bell at second, Jeffers at first with 2 down. Weaver will pitch out of the full windup. And he dots the outside corner, 0-1. Weaver's got a history as a starting pitcher, but you don't see many relievers pitch out of the windup, much less with the bases loaded.
And it gives that runner at second and first a real head start.
Dan's trying to provide Weaver some encouragement. And Keishel takes one right down the middle, and it's 0-2. Well, he's throwing 2 fastballs. You throw another fastball, you throw your changeup.
I think you pick another fastball, but you got to throw it out of the zone. Either away, you try to paint it, or about neck high.
Oh, 0-2 to Keishel. And he fouled back a fastball. Got it up, but not as high as he wanted.
Yeah, now you can go to the kick change. Only issue you have that there. It's your first one, Gary. And you got to make sure Alvarez stops it with these bases loaded.
Scorecard, blanket, fully equipped. 0-2 coming. Upstairs with another fastball. 1-2. Luke Weaver trying to keep it tied in the 8th. And a ground ball foul. Keishel hanging in there. He threw 4 straight fastballs, then he threw him a changeup. Now it's 1-2. Fastball popped up. Vientos and Alvarez looking for it. Alvarez has got it. Side retired. Luke Weaver gets a king size down in the top of the 8th to keep this game tied. Connor Rogers and Joe DeMeo cover the offensive struggles, underperforming stars, and slivers of hope for a turnaround on the latest episode of the Mets Pod. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts. Home 8th inning. Juan Soto, just back into the lineup tonight, will lead off against the veteran left-hander Taylor Rogers, who, unlike his brother, does not scrape his knuckles on the ground. And he throws a fastball by Soto, 0-1. Austin Martin stays in the game in left. Ryan Jeffers will catch. Victor Caratini moves to first base. Soto takes outside. One and one to Soto, and he lines one toward right. Base hit. Just beyond the dive of Luke Keeschel. And Soto on base for the second straight time. A walk in the fifth, and now a leadoff single in the eighth.
You see the grip from Taylor Rogers. Breaking ball up in the zone, though, with that flat swing from Soto, able to cover it and get it past Keeschel at second base.
Now a hard call in the tie game in the eighth inning. Would you run binge for Soto?
I think about it, especially because you're trying to protect that calf butt, Gary.
Spot might come up again.
Yes, you're stuck in a 2-2 game, so he's your best hitter.
So Soto's now hit in all 9 games he's played this year, and Luis Robert will try and move him along. Robert is 0 for 3 tonight. Carlos Mendoza staying with Soto to run for himself. Ball and a strike to Robert. Taylor Rogers, his twin brother, pitched for the Mets last year. They were teammates in San Francisco a couple of years ago. In the air to right center field. Walner easing back, and he makes the catch. Back to first goes Soto, one away.
Walner plays a very shallow right field. He's done a nice job this series so far, getting back on those fly balls.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Brett Beatty bats for the second time. Beatty came into the game in the 6th inning after Francisco Lindor was forced to leave with a tight calf muscle. Justin Topa, who pitched last night, is up in the Twins bullpen. 1 out and 1 on for Beatty. And he takes a slider inside for ball 1.
I know against the left-hander, but Soto looks very frisky over there at first base.
Stole 38 bases last year. He's edging away. And he gets the pickoff throw. Throw to second base by Caratini, and Soto is tagged out. He kept edging further and further away, and finally Rogers threw over. Caught stealing 1-3-6 for the second out.
You know, I could just sense it because of the way he was feeling. Kind of jumping around. Pitcher felt it too. And we talked about Vientos before getting thrown out. These are the little extra things that you're trying to do to win a game because you haven't won one in 2 weeks.
So now 2 out and nobody on for Beatty. And the slider breaks low. 2 balls, no strikes.
Catcher's challenging the ball call.
And a challenge by Jeffers. And he gets it overturned.
It was a strike. The Twins have 2 challenges remaining.
So it makes it a 1-1 count. Beatty takes that slider off the plate. Got a good at bat so far.
Lefty, lefty.
He had a good at bat his last time up against the left-hander Rojas and worked out a walk. 2-1 to Brett. Swings and misses at the cutter, and it's 2-2.
Got a pitch to hit there, just a bit late. Jeffers is a big guy, but he gets nice and low because that's where Rogers is the most effective.
Nobody throwing in the Mets bullpen. Weaver, who got the final out in the 8th. Looks like he'll stay on for the 9th. 2-2. A little high with the fastball. 3-2. Devin Williams, of course, pitched last night. Wound up the losing pitcher, and don't know if he's available tonight or not, but it doesn't look like he's going to pitch the 9th. And Beatty takes another walk. So back-to-back, Beatty walks against lefties. Remember, this is a guy who's only walked once all year. But two terrific plate appearances.
You know, Gary, maybe he's starting to see the ball better, and that's a good thing.
Well, that gives Alvarez a chance, and we'll probably see the right-hander to face him as Derek Shelton is on his way out to the mound. And Justin Topa will come in to face Alvarez with the go-ahead run at first and 2 out. We'll be right back.
A meal.
Met Memories presented by Prevagen. 10 years ago, as the Mets were driving for a wild card, a walk-off home run by Curtis Granderson in the bottom of the 12th, September 17th of 2016. And did you happen to catch Gilbs there? Look at the hair. Where is he? Come on, Stevie. Look at that. He has aged in presidential years since then.
He didn't even own a razor blade then. Never had to shave.
Wow. Justin Topa pitched last night, a 1-2-3 inning.
Yeah, Binghamton native, 1-2-3, 7th inning for Topa last night. Looking here to get 1 out for the Twins.
Comes in to face Alvarez, who drove in a run with a right center field double in the 4th. And Topa misses with his first sinker, ball 1. Alvarez 1 for 3 tonight. Beatty at first with 2 out. Tie game, 8th inning. Slider well off the plate. 2-0. And Alvarez foul tips the sinker, and it's 2-1.
Topa sinker slider, got that ball coming in on the right-handed hitter, and that slider moving away. Kind of short arms it up there from a 3/4 delivery.
Justin Topa, who went to college at LIU Brooklyn. They're the Sharks now. They were the Blackbirds forever.
Huh.
I don't know why they changed it. Foul back. Blackbird's a beautiful bird.
Beautiful song.
The Beatles wrote a great song. I mean, LIU, you think of Blackbirds and Junior's Cheesecake, right? 2-2 to Alvarez. Beatty at first and 2 out. And that slider was non-competitive, and it's 3-2.
Back-to-back for Topa, and his slider has not been like it was last night.
So just as was the case in the 6th inning with a right-hand hitter up, they're going to hold the runner and kept Vientos from scoring in the 6th. 3-2 to Alvarez, and he fouls it back. Because Beatty's got more speed than Vientos does. Vientos thrown out at the plate on a double by Marcus Semien after running through a stop sign. Now Alvarez trying to get Beatty home with the lead run with 2 out in the 8th. 3-2 coming, and he chops that one foul on a sinker.
You know, keeping the first baseman at first here is kind of a no-brainer. Why? Well, if you get a base hit between the first base and second baseman, it's just a single, just a base hit.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming to Alvarez, and he hits it foul off the right side.
Just love his at-bats this year. Just light years away from where it was early last year.
They're not as anxious.
That's the same word, maturity.
Beatty getting a workout. He'll be taking off again. 3-2. Outside, ball 4. Tremendous plate appearance by Alvarez, and that'll give Mark Vientos a chance with the go-ahead run at second. Mets have drawn 5 walks tonight. That's a nice change.
Soto in the lineup.
Of course. Vientos 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. 2 out and 2 on. And Mark golfs one foul. 0-1. That's a 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight. That one was an infield hit by Lindor in the first inning.
One big hit.
Vientos bloops one shallow right, that may fall, and it does for a base hit. Beatty on his way home. He scores the go-ahead run. Mets lead it 3-2. All it takes is a little dork to right field by Mark Vientos to put the Mets in front of the 8th.
Peterson saying, I thought you were strong with the Vientos.
Well, he needed that after getting thrown out at the plate in the 6th inning. He plates the go-ahead run in the 8th.
Started with 2 walks with 2 outs. Now finish it off with Simeon. Knock in a couple.
Marcus hit the double over the left fielder's head his last time up. 1st and 3rd, 2 out. Simeon takes it high. Oh, it's a strike, but he's going to challenge the call.
The batter is challenging the strike call.
He got jammed on that, but the 2 walks and the jam shot are enough to give the Mets the lead.
And the Mets win the challenge, so it's 1-0 to Simeon.
Well, Beatty took off course, 2 strikes. He's going to score. Warner's playing so shallow, but backed up a little bit for Vientos' respect for his power.
Simeon fouls away a fastball, and it's 1-1.
Beatty. Reaction of Vientos. Way to go, Peterson. I thought you were strong. Come on, you'll take the torque, as Gary said.
Pitchers get offended by
I
that.
am strong. Just needed a base hit.
One to Simeon. And that's a high strike, and Simeon's going to challenge that call. He got the first strike overturned on a pitch in a similar location, and he'll get that one overturned as well.
He's just letting Ryan Wills know. Lower those sights, bro.
It's only 53% of my height, not 58. 2-1 to Marcus. And that's outside, ball 3.
That was telling. Remember last night, the 2-0 pitch he swung at? Almost similar to that pitch. Nice take there by Simeon.
Pham is on deck. Let's have left-handed bats, Melendez and Benj, but the Twins have a lefty up in the bullpen. 3-1 to Simeon, and he fouls away the cutter. 3-2. Anthony Bonda is the lefty up in the bullpen. So would you prefer, if it comes to it, Pham against Topa or Melendez against Bonda?
Pham against Topa right now. I know Pham hasn't done a lot tonight. Hasn't done a lot as a Met so far, but he's done a lot in his career.
3-2 to Simeon, so Vientos will be off with the pitch. And he lifts it to center field. Coming on quickly is Buxton, and he dives and makes the catch. Tremendous play by Buxton, who looks like he's shaken up after making the play. The Mets get a run, but Buxton saves a run with a diving catch to Rob Simeon. Beautiful play. Mets take a 1-run lead to the 9th. Ninth inning, Matt Wallner leads off against Luke Weaver and swings and misses at a first pitch changeup, 0-1. The last time the Mets won a game on April 7th, Luke Weaver got the win. He's in line for the win tonight. Has to protect a 1-run lead after getting the final out in the 8th. And another changeup, and Wallner's down in the count 0-2. Royce Lewis on deck, and then Brooks Lee for the Twins. Byron Buxton is due up 4th in the inning. Carson Bench has come in to play left field for the Mets. Don't know if Buxton hurt himself badly on that last catch. But if it gets to his spot, we'll find out. Oft injured player. Nobody up behind Weaver in the Mets bullpen. He's ahead on Wallner, 0-2. And a pop-up foul. Vientos tracking it, and it goes out of play. And I believe Wallner broke his bat. Hit it right off the end. There's Buxton. He's already hit a home run tonight. Looks like he's okay. No sign of Devin Williams. Took the loss last night. Carlos Mendoza counting on Weaver to close this game out. Oh, 2 to Wallner. Struck him out. Came upstairs with a fastball after setting up the changeups. 1 out of 9.
That was really interesting because you saw Alvarez touch his face mask like, I need this head high. Well placed.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Royce Lewis. 1 for 3 tonight. A bloop single back in the 3rd. Struck out his 2 subsequent at bats. And Lewis takes change up high for ball 1.
Watch Alvarez touch his face mask. I need it face high. It's got to be at least face high. It had a little cut on it too.
Lewis takes the change up at the knees for a strike. 1-1. Lewis is 0 for 2 in his career against Weaver. 1 out and nobody on. And Lewis swings through the fastball. 1-2.
I mean, a quick throw from Alvarez, snatched by Weaver. They're pumped. Royce Lewis is hitting the 8th slot. He's not an 8th place hitter. Dangerous hitter.
1-2. Down with the changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brooks Lee, the switch hitting shortstop, is on deck. Neither one of these teams has thrived in 1-run games this year. Mets trying to hang on for their first win in 2 weeks. Bounced foul. Mets are 1-5 in 1-run games. The Twins are 0-3. Two and 2 to Royce Lewis. Got him looking. 2 men down. Looking from a local, they got the express, and the Twins are down to their final out.
Weaver has done such an excellent job in this outing usage of his fastball. Really kept him guessing.
Brooks Lee, the batter, 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for 7 in this series. And Lee takes a strike with a changeup, 0-1. Ball and a strike. Lee keeps it going. Byron Buxton looms on deck. One from Weaver, and Lee pops it foul, and now the Twins are down to their final strike. 1-2. On the ground. Backhanded by Bichette. The off-balance throw. Not in time. Terrific effort by Bichette. Getting his first call at shortstop this year with the injury to Lindor. And he nearly got the speedy lead at first.
You didn't think this was going to be easy, did you? A nice play by Bichette on the backhand. Gets rid of it quickly. And all the way to first base. I don't know if Vientos was even on the bag, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Now James Outman is going to run for Lee at first base, carrying the tying run.
Remember, Outman in last night's game stole a base, a critical base.
He ran for Bell after the leadoff walk by Williams in the 9th last night. Weaver's a little better than Williams at holding runners, though.
We knew at some point he was going to be up one more time, Byron Buxton.
Buxton homered in the 6th inning to tie the game. Made a great catch to retire Marcus Semien and save at least one run in the bottom of the 8th. And now he gets another opportunity, this time against Weaver in the 9th. He has a hit in his only career at bat against Luke. Outman the pinch runner at first, 2 out. And Buxton swings through the fastball, 0-1.
Semien close to that second base bag in case Outman decides to go. Buxton has a hole up and in, but that's not Weaver's strength.
Oh, 0-1 to Buxton. Down with a changeup. Good block by Alvarez. A ball and a strike.
Alvarez. We talked about his patient at bats, his mature at bats. Same with his catching and blocking of the ball.
Strange to say it, but the best arm in the Mets outfield is in left field with Carson Bench, if it comes to that. 1-1. Upstairs with a fastball. Couldn't catch up. And again, the Twins are down to their final strike.
I like the choice of pitches. I would stay if I was Weaver in that same spot. Stay away from the changeup.
1-2 to Buxton. Popped it foul.
That's too good of a pitch. A little higher than that. Easy to say up here.
Outman has not moved off first. 1-2 from Weaver to Buxton. He struck him out and the ball game is over. And for the first time in more than 2 weeks, the Mets can shake hands. That insidious 12-game losing streak has finally come to an end. Mets win it 3-2.
Mets been waiting 2 weeks for that last out right there. Outstanding pitching from Weaver. Struck out 3 in that inning, and he had to be his best against the dangerous Buxton.
Luke Weaver got the last win for the Mets on April the 7th against the Diamondbacks. He goes 4 outs to get the win tonight. Mark Vientos' bloop single in the bottom of the 8th proves to be the difference. Juan Soto comes back to the lineup, and the Mets get a win.
Look at the smile on the manager.
The only thing the Mets have to be concerned about after this game is the condition of Francisco Lindor, who suffered a tight calf muscle while running the bases and scoring a run. And we'll find out more about that after the game. But for right now, the Mets can smile as Luke Weaver gets the job done.
All the fastballs upstairs, and then the kick change. And he threw it exactly where he had to throw it. Down, in the dirt, and the relief with the fire in the background. Wow, that's sweet.
Tonight's win is brought to you by Moomoo. Download the app for access to exclusive Mets perks and smarter trading. Moomoo Financial Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. I forgot we had that read.
Every once in a while.
Game summary is presented by New York Presbyterian. Let's not forget Clay Holmes. He was terrific again tonight. 2.10 ERA through his first 5 starts. Holmes gets a no decision. Weaver, 4 outs for the win. And the Mets snap their longest losing streak in 24 years as they're finally able to celebrate and shake some hands. Mets win it 3-2 to even up this series at a game apiece. More coming up from Citi Field in just a moment. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official health and wellness partner of the New York Mets. By Citizens, make sense of your money with Citizens. By Bet365, where winning is everything. And by Toyota. Dear Spring, Toyota's adrenaline-pumping lineup is ready for you. Toyota, let's go places. Final score tonight, the Mets 3, the Twins 2. Rubber game of this series. Tomorrow night, Christian Scott makes his season debut against Joe Ryan. Coverage begins at 6:30. First pitch at 7:10 tomorrow night, right here on SNY. Mets get to celebrate a win. Now for Ron Darling, Steve Gelb, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. After this break, it's Mercedes-Benz post-game live with Gary Apple and Todd Steele.